so it's me again, and as you can see, the album is kind of starting looking like an album. It has covers, it has pages. Of course, I will add more elements, I will decorate it, but I also added 4 pages inside the album, and this is the way I need to apologize because I forgot to record this part. For my excuse, I was watching Detective Monk series on Netflix while scrapbooking, and I kind of forget to press record on the camera. So I will quickly explain to you how I did it. As you can see, the basis of the pages are just circles. This element, this harmonica element, we have already created previously. So I just cut it out 8 even circles. They are about 18 centimeters in diameter, and they are all in the same size. You can either cut them out by hand, sketch them using retractor or compass, I'm not sure how it's called in English, using this, and cut them out with your scissors, but the chance they will all be exactly the same are low because it's a handmade thing, it's not perfect. I used my digital die cutting machine, Silhouette Cameo, to cut out 8 circles from this craft cardstock, and I also cut out this stencil. This is the circle, slightly smaller than the ones that I used to cut out the page base. It's like a 1 millimeter smaller in each direction, and it will be like a stencil for the inner pages or like the papers that I will glue on top of it. But all those 8 circles, I grouped them by 2 because I have 4 pages, and I added glue on the side of one circle, and then I glue them together without pressing the very bottom part, this part where they connect here. So they connect here, it's a circle, so it doesn't matter. And when they were already glued on this spot, I kind of divided them into 2 pieces and slide them onto this this harmonica part, and then I pressed it together to make the glue hold from both sides. And this is how the first page was done, and we have quite 2 centimeters high fold in here, so you could easily add the page. And as you can see, some of the harmonica sticks out, but it has to be like this when it comes to the round pages. You cannot do it in any other way unless you trim the page a little bit, so we will have this kind of a circle with cutted out element. But I did exactly the same for all 4 pages. Just be sure that you are gluing it exactly at the same spot, so the pages will not stick out from the top and from the bottom of your album. So when you close it like this, there is nothing sticking out from any side. So this is the album base, and I will start making pages. I have my pictures printed here. I have 2 bigger ones. The first is us as a family before entering the museum, and I have another one with a wonderful steam locomotive. And I have around 30 pictures from the museum, and I need to group them into 4 piles because I have 4 pages. You can divide them into 6 piles because you also have 2 covers, and each pile will then be divided between 2 sides of each page. So this is the process I like to do. Not each page will have exactly the same pictures. I like to group them. Well, I'm not sure if in this case it will be a point because it's one museum, but when I travel, I like to group them by days. And even though in one day I have more pictures than in the other one, I still group them into one page, so 1 day per page or 1 trip per page. And after I know how many pictures I need to fit into the page, I just think of the flaps, pockets, and elements that can hold so many pictures. So First, I divide my photos knowing how many of them should go here. If it would be only 2, I will just glue them down like this. If it would be 4, I would add 1 flap here, so I will have 2 and 2 on top of the flap. If it would be even more, I would make a waterfall. Not in this album because it's round, but usually in the rectangular albums, I would make a waterfall. If it's 3 pictures, I can only add 1 flap. So depending on how many photos you need to add, you can adjust how many extra room for the pictures you need to have. So first I will divide them into 4 groups. Maybe I will add 1 picture here, 1 here. I am not sure yet. And then I will know how many photos I need to add per page, and then I will start planning the page. So I will be back to you with all the pictures divided, and we will start making the first page.
And by the magic of video editing, I am back and I am starting making my first page. I prepared all the bits and pieces that I needed, and I started with choosing my background paper. The circle I am using is slightly smaller than the album page, so it will have this little outline of craft cardstock. And this circle that I'm using, the blue one, will be just a stencil for my pages. So I will use it to trace it around with the pencil and hand cut all the pages. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned it maybe in this video or in the previous one, you can use your digital die cutting machine and cut out the same circles using digital die cutting machine, so it will save you some time with tracing, and it will also save you uneven edges. If you are a perfectionist, it is something that I think you can do to make your life easier. So this is the base of my page, and I will be creating 2 flaps in a circular shape. And what I'm doing right now with my compass retractor is planning how big of a circle I need to fit the picture. This page will have 4 pictures in it, so I am just preparing enough room for 4 pictures. And I am creating 2 flaps, one on the left and one on the right, and they will be circular, so I'm just sketching the circles on the craft cardstock, and I will use my scissors to fussy cut them. Again, if you're a perfectionist, just use your digital die cutting machine to do so. For me, I usually have to uncover the desk on my left where the machine is. So if I would have like a separate station for my silhouette cameo with a very easy access, I would probably do it with my digital die cutting machine. I would just click and then collect the shape from the other desk. But I keep my machine on the desk. I have long desk and I scrapbook in the middle, and the left and the right are empty spaces where they're supposed to be empty spaces, and space on the left is empty and it's dedicated for me spreading the cutting sheets from silhouette cameo, but it's usually covered with a lot of things, especially when I am creating like today, when I'm making album. All the desk is covered with things, so it's just faster for me to hand cut elements if possible. So I will be using those 2 circles as flaps, and I need to mount those flaps to my base page. You may wonder why I didn't glue it down to the paper, to the base of the page. Well, this is the purpose. I need to make hinges for my flaps, and I need to hide them behind the paper. So I'm just adding 1 hinge on the left and 1 hinge on the right, and my glue is failing me. So I'm just adding 1 hinge on the back side of the paper. So I'm gluing them on the back, and they will not be visible here. And I'm just measuring to make sure they are even. And when the glue will kind of catch, I will add the circle on the left and the circle on the right. So the hinges and the circles are almost done. So as you can see, it's a really fast process, but I need something to hold the circles in place. When you open the album, you don't want the pages to flap or the flaps to flap. That's why I am using strong magnets. They are quite slim and I buy them in bulks. Those are less than 1 centimeter in diameter, and you will need two, one in the front and one in the back. So I'm just measuring the magnets to decide where they should go, and the one on the back is on the back, so it's on the back of the pattern paper I choose for my base. So I'm just gluing it down behind it, and I can glue down the whole page to the base, because the other magnet will be glued inside one of the flaps, the top flap, so it will close nicely. It's a little bulky when you move your hand around, but it's really almost not visible, so do not worry about it. If you like your pages to be smooth, you can add magnet on top, but I don't like my magnets to be visible. I just want it to look like magic. So I hide them behind paper layers, I hide them behind stickers, whatever I have on page. I just try to hide my magnet. It's strong enough that will hold few layers of paper in between two magnets, and they will still catch. I buy them in crafty stores. I am not sure if you are from United States, you have those easy accessible. In Poland, it's easy, many girls use them, so we just have them in crafty stores. And this is where I'm fitting the second magnet, and just make sure you are connecting the magnet with the page with the side that is opposite to the magnetic side. So first try it with two sides. You don't want them to push away each other. You want them to um, oh, okay, I'm lacking the word in describing the functioning of the magnet. You want them to hold, you don't want them to push away. So just make sure that you are connecting two good sides of magnets, because you know, if you rotate the magnets on the other side, they will not hold, they will push each other away. So just make sure before you glue everything down that you have good sides of the magnets facing the other magnet. So I covered the one side of the flap. Now I am covering the other side of the flap. This way I will mask the hinges and everything will look neat and nice. If you like to add a little bit of distressing or vintage thing, you can get your distress inks around the edges and it will all look more vintagey. So I have the flaps ready. Um, Everything is glued down and the magnet already holds, so it really looks nice. And I still need to embellish the front of my flaps. I am not sure if I embellished it with papers or I just added photos on top of the craft cardstock. But for this page I have 4 pictures. Yeah, I decorated it with pattern paper. So I'm just using the same retractor with the same kind of a size set it up on it to cut out 2 more circles. So it's a lot of cutting circles. Again, if I would have easier access to my Silhouette Cameo, I would definitely just use it and have the work done within one run through the machine instead of cutting out. But it's still only 4-5 circles, so it's not that bad. I am adding another layer, and I will also add the same size of the circle on the other flap, and I will be ready to add the photos and add the decorations to the page. I will be using Traveler Collection die cuts. Traveler Collection paper elements, and those paper elements are tags, envelopes, um, circles, scalloped circles, tickets, so all sorts of things to build up the layers. But usually I just try to make my album as well, I would say as simple as possible, but it's not it's not that simple if you go through it. But I usually decorate only the areas around the pictures, tag some elements behind them. I do not plan it ahead with how I will decorate. I glue down the pictures, leaving some not glued space around the picture. So when I apply the glue on the picture, I usually apply it in the middle and I leave the sides not stick down so I can tag elements behind it. So this is how the base looks, and this is how the finished page with pictures and decorations look. So as I mentioned, I have 4 pictures, one per each flap, and I could also add the second picture behind the first and the third picture behind the second flap. So I could easily accommodate 6 pictures in this page layout. And I'm also adding those next strip stickers. This is the older Minty Papers collection. First page is done. I can move to the second page. You may wonder why my cover on the left isn't decorated with pictures or anything, and this is something I like to do at the very end when all the pages are finished, unless this is the part of the story and I add a lot of pictures there, so sometimes I start with the cover also. But for this cover I only have one picture planned, so I just skipped to the making pages and I will decorate the cover at the very end. The same is about outer cover. This is something that I always decorate at the end because I don't want to kind of ruin my decorations during the process. I move album a lot, so it may be too fragile, easy to destroy. That's why I prefer to do it at the end. And I'm starting again with cutting out the circle for the base of my project, and you can only do it with 12 by 12 papers because 6 by 8 paper pack is just too narrow, but you can use it to make a flap. And this is what I will be doing in this page. I use the same circle to kind of trace it around, but as you can see, it's not a full circle, it's only a part circle, but it will be a flap. So this is exactly what I wanted for this page. I already have my base, and now I'm just creating the flap. So I basically just cut out semi-full circle, and I will be adding the scoring on this page, and it will be really really fast process. So I just add scoring, I think 1.5 cm from the edge of the circle, and I'm just adding glue on this spot. And I'm planning how to add my pictures. I have, I think, 4 pictures too, so I'm just wondering if I should make the circle a little bit more narrow, and yes, I decided to trim it a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, size will be better to accommodate my pictures. And I already have the scoring added, and I'm only applying glue on the smaller piece that it's scored. So I'm only applying glue there, and I need to press it down and hold it for a while for the glue to catch, and then I will be able to close and open the flap. What I'm doing now is making a holes for, this is, it looks like pointer. It's 2 pieces element. There is a pointer and the brad, and you mount them into the page, and then you can move the pointer. It's like this element in the clock that I forgot the name of it, that points the minutes and hours. So you just mount it with the brad on the base page, a little bit away from the flap, And then when you turn around the pointer, you will be able to close the page. You will see it in a minute. You just make holes in the paper that is like below the flap you want to hold, and mount this element with brads. And of course, it's nice to do it before you glue down your pages to the base of the album. And I'm just pressing everything firmly, and see, you rotate it and the pages is closed. When you open it, the page opens. So you just need to use your fingers to move this element around. Again, it's easy to buy those in Polish crafty stores, and I buy them here. I will also leave you the link to the big Spanish shop that ships around the world, especially around the Europe. And you can get those there too, along with the magnets. For United States, I am not sure where you can purchase things like this, but those are from Craftelier shop in Spain. I think, yes. And the magnets are from the Polish shop, but Craftelier also sells magnets. So I will have two pictures on the flap, and it will be sticking out of the frame. That's why I'm only applying glue on the one side, sticking out from the flap. That's why I'm only applying glue on the one side. Plus, I'm backing this picture with another picture on the back, so I'm just matching so they stick exactly the same, stick out exactly the same. So one is the shadow of another, and two pictures are down, and I need to add two more pictures to this flap. And then decorate everything. So as you can see, this is such a simple construction. You can make two flaps, one on the left, one on the right if you need more pictures. You can also make the flap from top to the bottom and then use vertical pictures. It's all up to you. It's easy to kind of change things with this kind of a layout of an album page. It's just an extra way to add more space for the pictures in the album that seems small. Well, it seems small, but it's not small, so it's really, really easy to kind of make big albums in small bodies. I don't know how to describe it a different way. My page is almost done, well, the base page, and I will also decorate it. And just be careful when gluing down the pictures so you wouldn't glue on top of those pointers that close the flaps. And I will decorate my page off the camera because it's, you know, a long process, and it doesn't teach you anything in particular. I wanted to show you how to construct the pages, and decorating is like a personal taste, so you can decorate however you want. And this page is done. All the pages are showcased in my first video of the series when I do flip through of the album. So thank you so much for staying with me with another part of my tutorial for the round album. And of course, I will be back soon with the part number 3. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss any new video. Bye!